Hi guys. Hello everyone. Welcome to our live 4 p.m. today. Hi Shraddha. Was just chatting with you. Hi Rebecca. Good to see you guys. Hello. So today I'm chatting with Vanchika Goenka, but before she logs on, I logged in 2 minutes early just to tell you that 1st to 15th August, we're launching our first ever virtual showcase. This will be across our social channels. We have 20 amazing brands that we have put together, curated, so their brands, services, and different people who basically, we have people who do kids wear, we have someone who does services and activities for children, fashion designers, jewelry designers, homeware and home decor designers. So I'm really excited that, and I hope that you'll support each and every one of them that will be participating. It starts on the 1st of August. And very, very excited to have all of them with us. So just wanted to come a little early and tell you that this is what we've planned. But today I'm chatting with the ever fabulous Vanchika Goenka. She is the founder of Cool Kanya. It's a women-only community. So today we're chatting about building communities, growing together, and how people don't believe that you can actually work with people that are in the same business. Me and Vanchika have very, very similar communities, but have always collaborated, and I was part of her very first event. So I'm very excited to have her here. Just let me get her on. Hi to everyone joining in. Hi Tammy from London. Hi Hiral, Ishita. Hi Arti, good to see you here. We have a live with you tomorrow. Okay, we have Vanchika here. I'm gonna get her on now. Hi
Hi,
Vanchika, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Long time.
Yes, long time. It's been a while.
And we're connecting during COVID when we're all sitting at home and really can't be stepping out. But how are you doing? How's everything with you?
It's been going well. Busy, but really well.
Yeah, that's always good news. I think as long as we can be busy, we'll be happy. So today I started the conversation before introducing you, saying how I'm a true believer of building communities and working together, and I think that you and I do that because when you launched Cool Kanya, I loved being part of your event.
Yeah.
And even though we do something which is very similar, it's very different as well. But it's cool to collaborate with something that is so similar as well. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
that thank
you
you
were
for
a
that.
part of our first event, and it just went off so well because
Yeah.
everyone loved your session. So yeah.
How sweet. Thank you for joining me. I want you to tell us. So I never do this like introduction on the show. I like to for you to tell me a little bit about you, how you got started with Cool Kanya and what you were doing before that.
Okay, awesome. So I think with Cool Kanya, the journey, if I look back, started out really early. I remember I was actually just 5 years old, and it was like a festival or Diwali or something. And I remember overhearing this conversation between my father and my uncles, where they were asking him that you only have two daughters, who will work ahead. And at that point, I remember thinking to myself that, why are these people saying this, right? Like, I'm going to work ahead. Why are they dismissing me already? And at that point, I never said anything, but that incident stayed with me. And a couple of years later, when I started working in a sanitary pads company, so we were looking at redesigning the sanitary pad. And I just remember at that point looking around the room, and there were only men. And at that point, I thought to myself that, how will a man ever relate to creating a product like a sanitary pad? A man is never going to wear that product.
Yeah.
And why are there not enough women in the workforce? And that's really when I started delving into the skewed ratio more. And really, that's where the idea of Cool Kanya started.
Yeah, honestly, that would have really infuriated me as well if someone tells me, that I can't do something or that women won't be able to handle this. I feel like it just really bothers me, even though I don't say anything. I'm like, women are basically ruling some of the best startups, and
Yeah.
you and I must have come across so many women that are really doing some amazing things. And today, with tech and digital and opportunities everywhere, there's no stopping us.
I agree with you completely. There's really no
Yeah.
stopping. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, what is Cool Kanya and how does one be a part of Cool Kanya?
So, Cool Kanya is a platform, a career platform where our mission is to help every woman out there create a career that she loves. So, on our platform, a woman can come, find our blogs, find content from everything to do with how do I start my career to how do I grow my career to, if I take a career break, how do I get back? into
Yeah.
a career after a break. We also have a community which is based on the idea that the best person to give you advice is someone who's walked in the same shoes as you. So you can connect with people who've been through similar life experiences as well as mentors. The third thing actually that we're launching soon is the Cool Kanya Marketplace, where women can enlist their services. So for example, if I'm a graphic designer, I can sign up. If I'm a content writer, I can sign up. So that's actually going live on Monday.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, soon. And
Yeah.
so the dream really is to create an ecosystem where women can find everything to do with her career needs eventually. So we're working towards that.
Awesome. That's really good news, and congrats on the new initiative and adding something to Cool Kanya. I want to ask you about building a community. I'm very passionate about building a community, and I'm really, really passionate about people helping each other. I never understand why someone says, I don't want to pass on a contact, or, I don't want to help. I'm like, why do you not want to help? But tell me your views on building a community, growing together.
So I think for me personally as well, building a community is super important, especially at times you might have some questions where you can't reach out to your family or you can't reach out to your friends. And this kind of happened to me early on when I just graduated from college and I was really confused about my career, and my parents had their own dreams for me, right? So I couldn't go there and be like, I don't want to do this, or like, I want to do something else. And at that point, I found my friends to be really sorted. So that kind of intimidated me. Like, I just did not have a safe space where I can reach out and be like, I'm confused. Please, what do I do? So I think that's really where the community comes in, where you can be yourself, be vulnerable, and ask questions that you have.
Yeah, that's actually great. And I think a lot of people do feel that. Plus, a lot of people are, I know it's wrong, probably not you, but a lot of people are embarrassed. So they don't know what stage of business they're at. And they're like, am I too low on the rung? Can I ask this question amongst my friends? But I think that having a safe workspace and having a safe work community is very important. And I think you and I have both created that very well for people to just be like, hey, this is me, help me grow.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So I also want to ask you now, of course, networking groups, there's not just one or two, there are so many. I see, them popping up every day, and a lot of women-focused communities out there. How does Cool Kanya stand apart from them, and what are the kind of offerings that you have?
Okay, so you kind of froze there. Yeah, okay. So I think what really differentiates us would be three things. The first is our focus on safety and trust, right? So from the minute a user logs into the Cool Kanya community, that becomes really important. We also have features like an anonymous feature where, like you said, some people are embarrassed to share some stories. Some people are scared to be vulnerable with their names associated with it. So just with a click of a button, a user can, become anonymous and ask a question without feeling judged. The second thing of our community. Yeah, the second thing of our community is that we go beyond just being transactional. Like in a lot of the women's groups that you're mentioning, a lot of people log in are like, we want jobs, or we're looking for work, we're looking for projects. While that is definitely a part of the community, what is also important to us is to make sure we give actionable advice to each user and each member of our platform. And sometimes users can just come and rant. Like you can just come and talk about like, I have this issue, or, I've been going through something. I think the final thing that also differentiates us is that while the community is an important pillar of our platform, but it's not the only thing, right? If a user logs into the platform, when she joins the community, she also gets access to our content, which is, everything. We have detailed guides. We have actually weekly, we release PDF guides on,
graphic designing,
career as a graphic designer, career as a dancer, maternity guides.
Cool.
Now, this user also now from Monday actually will get access to the marketplace. She can become a seller on the marketplace and, have access to a place to, earn revenue and grow in her career, and at the same time get career advice from the community while growing in her career. So it's really that focus on also building that ecosystem.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. And I think that more than anything, you're passing on valuable information which people don't have access to, and kind of guiding them in the best way possible to like take the business forward. Because I feel that the reason I started networking now in India is because I had a lot of friends complain, friends that were studying abroad or working abroad and came back to start their own thing and had probably lost those 5 years in building their connects here. So, they would complain, Shan, I get duped all the time. A graphic designer is charging me 3 times the amount they've charged someone else. And I think these are small but very important things. Don't waste money in the start of your business.
And I think that also comes, it's so important even for when you're starting a startup like mine, like, that would be very valuable, like a network, a community like yours is
Yeah.
so important to me where, how do I do my branding, for example, like,
Yeah.
reaching out and just posting that and getting people to help me with that. That is also, really useful.
Yeah, important. Yeah. So that's great. I'm really glad that you do a lot of, people should sign up because I think you get a lot of valuable information that way as well. I also want to ask you, during this lockdown, I've seen online go into like, it's just been crazy. I think with lives and I think traction, I think it's been nuts. I think people who were never online or on Instagram are now on Instagram and online. But what's your thought on building a community? Because you and I, at least when you started and I did one of your offline events, a lot was offline.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on people building stuff online? Is it the future and the way to go?
I definitely think it is the future and the way to go. So if you would have asked me this question 4 months ago, I would have responded a little differently. I would have said that, an online community does definitely need some offline interaction. But during these 4 months, my views have kind of changed on this, right? Because we've managed to do a lot of offline events. And because of our offline events, we've actually been able to reach a lot more people, which otherwise we wouldn't have. So today, in our offline events, we have people sitting from Agra, from Jalandhar, from different cities, right? So it's not only constrained to Mumbai. And then usually that diversity brings in a lot more conversation, different perspectives. So I think online is definitely the future, but having said that, offline is important. And in the end, I feel like once all of this is over, they both have to work together hand in hand.
Yeah, that I completely agree. So also, of course, everything with entrepreneurship comes with leadership and mentoring, So I want to ask you your thoughts on this. And Vanchika, how do you kind of, maintain this in a company? Are you a completely woman-oriented company, or do you guys have men as well?
No, I think we have men as well. So like,
okay.
Definitely I think men have to be a part of the conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's so important to like bring about a change. So men are a part of the company as well.
Yeah. So what I want to ask you is, what are your insights? Have you learned about leadership or mentoring or, just empowering women at a time like this, or maybe even through the year with Cool Kanya? If you could share some insights.
So I think insights for me personally, I talk about leadership. The thing that I've really learned in this process is that change is your best friend. Like, I think earlier I would run away from change, but the one thing I've learned is that to embrace change, it teaches you a lot and it actually helps you do things for the better. So one thing would be change. Another thing that I've really learned is how it's so important to hire people smarter than you, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially, that's something, honestly, for me, I would be really intimidated because when I started, I was 26, right? And then I would sit in these rooms interviewing people who are a lot older than me. And I would just feel like, oh my God, like, and then also allowing them to, do what they want, giving them the freedom to do what they want to do, because that's really the reason why you've hired them, right? Not trying to control that. And I think with mentorship, what I've really learned has been the importance of empathy, right? Where you sort of put yourself in that user's shoes, see her situation from her eyes, and not judge her. I think not judge her decisions, not judge what she's doing, and just then you'd be more likely, you'd be in a better place to help her out.
Yeah, that's actually amazing. I also wanted to ask you, like you mentioned, about women and careers, and that's what you really want them. I want every woman, at least this is my vision, to do something. So I'm not saying you have to be making millions. I don't think that you have to be running a large corporation, but just something. So what are your thoughts on women shifting careers? Do you think it's a very big deal? Do you think that they need to keep, anything in mind before doing the same?
So I think one thing, when you're shifting a career, you need to ask yourself why, right? Why are you looking to shift your career? And also evaluate both the short-term and the long-term consequences of that, and also sort of evaluate why you're looking to change, right? So what really helps sometimes is just creating a simple pros and cons list, right? Like, what are the cons? Like, what is not working for me in this job? And, is it that I'm bored? Is it that I'm not earning enough? And work through that cons list, right? Like, see how you can sort of, can you solve for that? Now, if you definitely cannot solve for that and you really are keen on making a career shift, then look at the kind of skills you have. What kind of career path can you choose based on the skills you have? Do you have to upskill based on the skills you have? What do you really have to do? The third thing you can really do while looking for a career shift is speak to people, right? The best people to give you advice is someone who's had the same career trajectory as you. Ask them what they've done. And I think what's another thing that's really important when evaluating a career change is looking at your financial situation, right? How will that be impacted? Would that really, like, do you have a family that you need to support? Can you do okay if you don't earn that kind of money that you're currently earning? So I think these are a couple of things that are really important to really consider before making a career shift.
Yeah, absolutely. Financials is a big one, because if you are contributing towards the house, or if you are paying for something big, then I think that decision is important. Also, talking about right now, COVID has been such a tough time for a lot of people. I think a lot of businesses are either shutting down, or people who had just started before the pandemic, unfortunately, don't know where it's going, don't know what's next. But have you guys been doing anything special or different for your community? Like, for example, I started these lives and I just decided, I was like, I just want to give back. And even though I did it every single day for 3.5 months, but I was like, it's just a time to learn. Everyone has time, let's do it. So have you guys been doing any activities or like Zoom sessions that has kept people motivated?
So, like I was saying earlier, Shan, when COVID hit, I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Because suddenly you're working from home. There's so much change going on. There's so much to deal with. So I think in response to this, what we did was we had a Get Work event on our community where we got companies to come in, enlist jobs and work projects where women could come, apply, get work. That was one thing that we did.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
The second thing that we did was we started doing workshops and digital webinars. So we actually tied up with Deepa Narayan, who's a former World Bank advisor, and she actually did a Chup Circle with us where it happened every week, where she talked about undoing and unconditioning years of conditioning, which help which make women less confident. So that was a workshop that we did. We did monthly like digital marketing workshops, branding workshops. So a lot of workshops that we did. Along with that, we actually do weekly meetups on our community, which is Zoom sessions.
We do that. Yeah, that's cool. It's been working well for us too. Yeah.
Yeah, like, how do I, like, different professions like this. Tomorrow we have something on a resume. Last week we just had a listening circle where people came in and just spoke to each other, right? Like, you just want to feel heard during this time. So we do different things every week. So it's actually been a great learning, because I think COVID has forced us to be so creative and use technology so much more, like in a way that we never expected we had to,
Yeah, absolutely right. I'm using apps that I've never used before in my life. I'm watching things I've never watched before. So I agree, it's a time of learning, and definitely what you've done is great, because it's a time of connecting. And I think we don't do that otherwise, because we usually never have that much time.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's nice. So I want to ask you about social media in particular. I think everyone's really big on growing on social, and I'm very big on growing organically. How did you kind of gather your audience? So let's say, because you are a women-only community, is there something special that Cool Kanya did, which kind of targeted the women only, or women who are career-oriented? Is there anything you can share with maybe others who are in the similar profession and want to know?
So I think one thing that really helped grow our social media is content, right? Like, you have to be creating content that is valuable. A user has to find something, whether it's a message, whether it's motivation, whether it's actionable advice. A user has to find something from that post. So, right, keeping that very clear in your mind. The second thing with social media, I think, which is really important, is analysis, right? Analyzing what has worked, what is not working. Even like we basically analyze everything, right? Like, how many saves, shares, why is it not working? Even things like, okay, is it the time that we posted that's not working? Things like that also, because, that affects the reach. So really, I think understanding that, and I think just it's a process. Like, we did not grow overnight, right? Like, it took us a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, I think, with social media. And especially, like you said, to grow organically takes much longer. And you have to be patient with it. And you have to keep trying, keep learning, and keep experimenting.
Yeah. It's very important what you said, because people don't realize that they need to look into their insights. Very often we just post and they think it's going to work miracles if you just post every single day. But like you said, know your audience. Even the time you post is so important. Why are you posting? Is your content good enough? Are people, do they really want to see the content that you're posting? So that's important. Okay, so I want to ask you a lighter question. I don't know if this is light or would you need to think about this, but is there anyone who's been your role model that you can tell us about?
So, I actually like, whenever someone asks me this, I really wonder. Someone who I really admire and is my mom. Obviously, she is someone who I really look up to just because of her journey. She started off with not going to college, and today she's leading in the textile world, which is predominantly male. But
Wow.
I think one thing that I've also learned is to learn something from everyone's journey, right? Because everyone has something to teach you, and you can't completely emulate anyone's journey. So to keep learning and then sort of do what you want to do, and yeah. So I don't really have a role model completely, but I mean, I just believe in learning from everyone.
Yeah, that's a great one, and I believe that too. I feel like everything is a learning. So whether it be negative or positive or anyone else's experience is a great learning for us as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also tell me, do you think Cool Kanya bridges the gap that you may have faced in your career when you just started out? So I think, like you mentioned, a very important point. You felt lost because your friends were already, doing something. And so tell us a little bit more about that.
So
When you decided to start.
so I graduated from Brown, and I did really well in college, and then suddenly, because of a visa issue, I had to come back to India.
Okay.
And I'm seeing, all my friends, I think at that time everyone's on social media and posts, okay, I'm doing so well, like, someone's getting featured somewhere, and everyone's doing so well, and I'm just sitting at home thoroughly confused because so I've done really well in school and college, and then suddenly I graduate and I'm like, you know what, I don't know what I want to do with my life.
What next? Yeah.
Yeah, what's next? And my parents are like, okay, you should do this, join finance, do this, like basically telling me what to do. And my friends are like completely killing it in their chosen career paths, and I'm sitting there feeling very anxious. And at that point, I wish there was a place where I could just type and express myself and get some advice, right? Like without feeling judged, and just feeling heard and feeling like I'm not alone. Right? I would love to have that point of heard that I've been through this as well, and you're not alone. I think in that respect, Cool Kanya as a platform would have really helped me at that point.
Yeah, and I think that's a good learning for where you were and what you wanted to do. So I think you are your true example and your true candidate for what you started.
Yeah.
What you said is so nice because like you came back, and then social media is such a big part of everyone's life. You see people being featured, you see people doing things. So but you still didn't say not me, but you still took it in your stride and you made something happen, and look where you are today. So I think a lot of people, if they do get that feeling, like a lot of my friends have been saying during this time, where's my business headed? But I keep saying, I'm like, pivot into something that can actually stay even post COVID. I know it's very important. There are people who just can wait and have the luxury of just waiting and seeing what happens. But there are people also who can't and really need to work out the financials from any business. So I think you are a great example and a good learning from what you just said. Give it time and think over it and do it. But tell me, what are your thoughts on the new normal after we go back to COVID? What are you guys planning at Cool Kanya in terms of events? Anything in mind?
I think definitely some offline events once COVID is over. I think meeting people in person would be great. Hopefully giving each other a hug in person would be great. But I think what we have planned next is largely, one is the marketplace that's coming out. We also want to grow our community further. We want to have profession-specific forums also coming in. And eventually also for this year, we've planned that hopefully we'll be able to achieve it is adding 2 more languages on the platform.
Cool.
So, going regional as well. So a lot on the cards. Let's see how things pan out.
Yeah, I think that's great. Going regional would be lovely. Also, I want to ask you, how would you encourage women to cultivate one or several specific qualities that will allow them to make this extraordinary time more manageable? Sorry, I'm reading right off my screen because some questions I just can't remember.
No worries. So I think one thing that I would advise women to do is, so many times we are always here, right? We're always in our heads.
Yeah.
We're not in our bodies. Right. And that's something that sort of leaves you disconnected really from truly how you're feeling. And a practice that I've started doing every morning that has really worked for me is a daily check-in. right? So I wake up in the morning and I check in with myself, like, how is my mind feeling? How is my emotional self feeling? What's coming up for me? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling upset? What's really coming up? And the third thing that I do is I check in with my body. What's tight? Like, is my back tight? Sometimes you don't even realize these things.
Yeah.
But just tuning in with yourself, it helps you just feel a lot more grounded and calmer.
Yeah.
I think another thing that really helps during this whole COVID time is to be kind to yourself. A lot of times, we're so harsh on ourselves. We're berating ourselves. We're telling ourselves, okay, this is not working. I'm so confused. This is not happening.
Yeah.
So just giving yourself some space, taking care of yourself. I think that will also be
Very
really
important.
helpful.
Yeah, very important. You mentioned such, fabulous things. I'll ask you one last question before I just take a question that's in the live as well. Is if you had to suggest, like right now, I know a lot of people are out of work. People are not even taking up. A lot of freelancers are unable to get work. Is there any suggestion that you have that they can use Cool Kanya in a way that they can actually get clients at this point?
So one thing that they can do is that they can form an account on Cool Kanya, post about what they're looking for, right? What are they trying to offer? Second thing that they can do is on Monday, our seller forms go out. So if you want, if you are a seller or if you have a service that you want to offer, sign up on that form. All our sellers are verified, so there's an interview process that you will go through once you put in your form, and once sort of you pass that round, you have a chance to be on our marketplace.
Awesome. So that was the question somebody's asked. Tell me a little bit more about the marketplace. If you can just elaborate. Yeah. If you can elaborate.
So with our marketplace, we want to, like, for us, like I was saying earlier, trust is really important. So all the sellers on our platform are verified. There is an interview process that you go through with people from the same field as you. So if you're from digital marketing, there's an expert digital marketing person just interviewing you to make sure, that you have the skills that are required to carry out the work that comes in from buyers, and to make sure that, you're someone we can trust, in terms of like making sure that you meet deadlines and work is done. Other than that, with the marketplace, we're just starting out currently with 3 professions, that is graphic designing, content writing, and digital marketing. Okay. And very soon we're adding a lot more categories. Next that we plan to add is a category called lifestyle, which will sort of include things like dancing, other kinds of professions as well. So it's just growing right now. So just starting out with 3. So if you are not from any of these 3 professions, look out for the next announcement. We are adding a lot more professions and a lot more services into the marketplace.
But you can still sign up to be a Cool Kanya member. I mean, that doesn't stop you. Just wait on the marketplace, that will come soon.
Definitely.
Vanshika, I'm so excited to have chatted with you. It's been so easy chatting with you, and I think that you have everything sorted. I think with Cool Kanya, you are really a Cool Kanya because you shared everything so quick and so easy for us to understand. I'd like to ask you to share anything you'd like to share with us before I let you go today.
So I think, Shan, it was great catching up with you. Hoping to do a live with you on our platform about your journey.
Yes.
I think just sharing one thing would be that, log on to coolkanya.com, check out our content, sign up on the community, and wait for, add us, follow us on Instagram. A lot more exciting stuff coming your way.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I hope that, Vanshika, everything, comes your way after this COVID. And I think everything's very positive because, touch wood, after this, people are really going to believe in the power of building a community and being part of a community because it's so important. So for both of us, that's going to be great. And it's always lovely, to collaborate with you and chat with you. So I hope to see you very soon.
Bye, Shan. See you.
See you soon. Bye.